Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today's video was brought to us by all of my Patreon supporters. Every month I have a poll on my Discord where my patrons can vote on which type of content they want to see. In this most recent poll, there was a tie between Blink decks and Super Friends decks. I decided to go with Blink decks. Real quick, if you're enjoying my content, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate the support, and if you like the deck list, consider sharing this video as well. I suppose I should go over what a Blink deck is in the first place, and then we can discuss how to build one. Blinking a permanent refers to exiling it and then having it return. Sometimes the card returns at the next end step, other times it comes back right away. There are advantages to both. For example, if your opponent has a Wrath on the stack and you cast Ghostly Flicker, it won't save your creatures from the Wrath. However, Eerie Interlude will save them. The reason we want to blink our permanents is so we can trigger Enter the Battlefield effects. Sometimes you have a commander like Eowyn's Shield Maiden, who will make tokens. Maybe you included cards like Perforos God of the Forge, who wants as many creatures as possible entering the battlefield. But mostly, you're running a bunch of creatures that have good Enter the Battlefield effects. Moonblessed Cleric, Imperial Recruiter, and Runescarred Demon all serve as tutors. Acidic Slime, Ravenous Chupacabra, and Night of Autumn serve as spot removal. Of course, you've got Muldrifter, Baleful Strix, or Wall of Omens to help you draw cards. Before we get to our video, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard is always innovating, and recently they've unveiled their new Druidic Secrets boulders. Turn your deck box into a mystical place. These gorgeous boulders come in a variety of colors and patterns, like this olive-colored one, celebrating the trees. Unleash your inner dryad to become one with nature and pick one up yourself at your local game store. Or order one from Amazon. Link down below. Now, most blink effects are in Azorius. That being said, you don't need to have both white and blue in your color identity in order to build a blink deck, but it does help. Bant, Esper, or Jeskai all make for great blink decks. Again, you don't need both white and blue, but you do need one of the two. The reason for this is because almost all blink effects, spells or abilities that exile a permanent then return it to the battlefield, are either white or blue. Now, I hadn't originally planned on building a deck for this video. My intent was to go over some fun combos you can run in a blink deck, as well as some of the design philosophies. But sometimes having an example that you can point to helps. Finally, I thought it would be fun to build a Jeskai Flicker deck, so we can have cards like Perforos or the new Warleader's Call to help us win games. So we'll have this deck led by Aragorn, King of Gondor. Aragorn, King of Gondor is a 4-mana 4/4 legendary human noble with vigilance and lifelink. Additionally, when he enters the battlefield, we become the monarch. Finally, whenever Aragorn attacks, up to one target creature can't block this turn. If we're the monarch, creatures can't block this turn at all. So all we really care about for this deck is Aragorn's Enter the Battlefield trigger. So long as we can stay the monarch, we get to draw an extra card every turn. But a blink deck can be a powerful engine, regardless of who's in the command zone. In fact, if you build your deck right, you can easily go infinite, especially with Panharmonicon effects. Also, the enemy of any blink deck is cards that prevent Enter the Battlefield triggers, like Elishnorn Mother of Machines or Hushbringer, so we'll want to make sure we can kill those as well. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Scalding Tarn, Arid Mesa, Flooded Strand, Misty Rainforest, Wooded Foothills, Marsh Flats, Rogram Triome, Steam Vents, Sacred Foundry, Hallowed Fountain, Training Center, Spectator Seating, Sea of Clouds, Storm-Carved Coast, Sundown Pass, Deserted Beach, Sulphur Falls, Clifftop Retreat, Glacial Fortress, Thundering Falls, Elegant Parlor, Meticulous Archive, Scavenger Grounds, 4 Islands, 3 Mountains, and 4 Plains make up our land base. Knight of the White Orchid, Peregrine Drake, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Creativity, Talisman of Conviction, Talisman of Progress, Izzet Signet, Boros Signet, Azorius Signet, Solemn Simulacrum, Mind Stone, and Decanter of Endless Water help us to ramp out and stay ahead of the curve. Imperial Recruiter, Archaeomancer, Moonblessed Cleric, Sun Titan, Spellseeker, Cloud Blazer, Aether Channeler, Charming Scoundrel, Ardent Elementalist, Ifara, God of the Polis, Seagate Oracle, Elite Guard Mage, and Muldrifter help us to keep our hands full and find our win conditions. Lauren of the Third Path, Reflector Mage, Dawnbringer Cleric, Plundering Barbarian, Cavalier of Dawn, Swords to Plowshares, Abrade, Path to Exile, Generous Gift, and Negate help us to keep our opponents in line. Cyclonic Rift and Blasphemous Act help us to reset the board as needed. Abdeladrian Gorian's Ward, Restoration Angel, Felidar Guardian, Feather the Redeemed, Agent of Treachery, Rebelark, Zealous Conscripts, Charming Prince, Fiend Hunter, Perforos, God of the Forge, Warleader's Call, Impact Tremors, Panharmonicon, and Elishnorn, Mother of Machines, make up the core of our deck. Supporting our plan, we've got Eerie Interlude, Ghostly Flicker, Ephemerate, Cloud Shift, Momentary Blink, Teleportation Circle, Displacer Kitten, Essence Flux, Semester's End, Lae'zel's Acrobatics, and Swarm Intelligence. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 49 mana sources split between 36 lands and 13 pieces of ramp. 13 pieces of card advantage. 10 pieces of interaction. 2 board wipes. 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Scavenger Grounds and Dawnbringer Cleric. 1 sudden I win card in Peregrine Drake. Okay, so we have 2 creatures that when they enter the battlefield, we return an instant or sorcery to our hand. Ardent Elementalist and Archaeomancer. For this combo to work, we need Peregrine Drake and either of those creatures on board. We cast any of our spells that exile 2 of our creatures and return them instantly. We cast that spell and float as much mana as we can, then target Peregrine Drake and the other creature. The spell resolves and goes to the graveyard. Archaeomancer or Ardent Elementalist trigger, returning that spell to our hand. Peregrine Drake then untaps 5 lands, giving us enough mana to recast our Blink spell. Repeat until we have infinite mana. But remember, we built our deck with the idea of winning with Perforos, Impact Tremors, or Warleader's Call. So all we need to win the game is 2 creatures that can flicker each other, like Felidar Guardian and Restoration Angel. One targets the other, either from being cast or blinked, which causes the other to blink, which blinks the other, and so on. This creates an infinite deterministic loop, and since the creatures are entering the battlefield, they trigger our win conditions, allowing us to close out the game. Though, and it wasn't from this deck, my favorite way to win with a blink deck is from my good friend Jiraiya's Amanatu deck. Amanatu and a copy of her made with Spark Double, along with Oath of Teferi and Gaunty Lord of Luxury, means you exile everyone's libraries. And that's just hilarious. Do you have a Blink deck? Who's your commander? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. For only $25, you too can have a commander video built at your request. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Danny, Muffins, Marcus, Squishy, Brett, Roxy, Sean, Pob Zombie, Mark, Borgie, Nazwin, Pedro, Tom, Midge, Lucius, Detroff, Rally, Frank, Alix, Jenny, Alex, and Julio. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander Deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.